here's what I'm going to do. Put in the comments your trade. Maybe we'll even put this at the beginning of the video, so that way you guys know. Put in the comments your trade, and I'm going to try to get to every single trade put in the comments on this one. But you've got to do it within the first 2 days of this video dropping. If you get it in the first 2 days of this video dropping, we're going to try to get back to every single trade. Do it now. It is officially trade season in Dynasty Fantasy Football. Players are moving. Guys are getting swapped. Teams are upgrading. Teams are rebuilding. All kinds of stuff this time of year. So I thought I would see how many trades I can get through in a 15-minute period. Now, I'm not going to try to fly through them too quickly to where I'm not giving any analysis or reasoning as to why I'm picking a certain side over the other, but we're going to look at some of these trades submitted by the Dynasty Nerd Herd. If you're not a part of the Nerd Herd, join today. It's less than a cup of coffee. So many extra tools, podcasts, shows, and then you even get a part of the Discord. You get film for the 2025 rookie class, all 22 film. So many good things. Join the Nerd Herd today. So here we go. These are all Dynasty trades. Here's the criteria. They got to be all Dynasty trades. No more than 5 assets total. This trade had to have happened since week 4. And like I said, no redraft, no keeper. This has got to be true Dynasty leagues. All right, here we go. First one. Let me start the clock because I want to make sure that I get a true 15 minutes. And let's start the clock now. First one here, Dynasty Nerd 1991 says Walker for Dobbins. Not knowing where you're at, it truly doesn't matter in this one. I'm going Kenneth Walker either way. Love JK Dobbins. I think he's going to get a lot of work, but Walker's got the higher ceiling for both this season, and he's a little bit younger. So for me, it's still pretty easily Kenneth Walker. Jake S23 says he's got a trade where he gets Breece Hall in a 2025 second. He gives up a 2025 first, Zay Flowers, Tyjae Spears, and a third. Look, you never love giving up your future first, but for Breece Hall, it's absolutely worth it. I'm only giving up 1 first and Zay Flowers. As much as I love the talent of Tyjae Spears, he's just not getting enough work to be more than a flex play at this point. So for me, this is still pretty good Breece Hall by a good margin. Next one here, we've got JB says Josh Jacobs for a 2026 first on a contender with a bunch of middling RBs. Look, you've got to do what you need to do to win a ship. Giving a first 2 years out, not a huge deal. I'm making that move to try to get myself a win now piece. Jacobs is even going to be better now that Jordan Love is back. So I think this is Josh Jacobs for sure. Next one here, we have Blind Wolf Golf says Rashee Rice. He would be acquiring him, giving up Jordan Addison in a second. This is all day, twice on Sundays. Like Rashee Rice right now, I have him ranked as my wide receiver 9, despite him being out. He is such a good player. He is in the perfect situation, and he was getting a ton of targets. Travis Kelce's not getting any younger. Hollywood Brown might not ever even play in a Chiefs uniform. It's going to be Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy, but Rice leading the way. Give me Rice all day. Next one up, Ronnie says Kyren Williams for Chris Godwin in a 2026 second. This one's really tough, but it's contenders trading for needs. And if you have a need at running back, Kyron's been one of the few consistent running backs. I hate giving up Godwin, but I would probably do it to get the running back that I need. Wiggles saying he's going after Alvin Kamara and Jaylen Waddle, giving up DJ Moore and 2 seconds. More Waddle, I view that as somewhat of a lateral move. So Alvin Kamara for 2 seconds, I want to win a ship. If I want to win a ship, Alvin Kamara helps me do that. Kenneth Walker for Roman Wilson in a 25 first. Yeah, I'm going to probably take Kenneth Walker there still. I don't love giving up a first in next year's class. It's a really good running back class. But if you're making this move, you're doing it as a contender. If it's a rebuild, obviously you're not doing it. So give me that side of this deal. Necropolitan says this was a deal for Garrett Wilson. He gets Garrett Wilson, gives up Puka Nacua. This one's pretty even at this point. I'm a bigger Wilson guy than Nacua. Neither one's been helping you much lately, but if you listen to the Dynasty Nerds show, you know that Garrett Wilson has had a brutal start to the season as far as his matchups go. Days are going to get a little bit easier for Garrett Wilson moving forward. I'll still take Wilson over Puka Nacua. Fire Medic, he's giving up Puka Nacua, or he's getting Puka Nacua and Jaylen Waddle, giving up Marvin Harrison Jr. and 2/3. For me, I want Marvin Harrison Jr. in the 2/3 there. I'm not as high on Puka. I guess if you have Puka as a top 10 guy, then maybe you take that side and that would make sense. But Marvin Harrison Jr. looks like he's going to be the player that we all think he could be through just the last 3 weeks. He's been wide receiver 7. He's been putting up some huge games, scoring touchdowns, and he's getting the target share. So for me, it's definitely still Marvin Harrison Jr. over those two guys. Here we go. This one is just a 1 QB league. I said they would all be super flex, but I guess I lied. I'll get to you anyway. Bingo. Bingo offers Nick Chubb, or gets Nick Chubb in a 25 first, gives up Jordan Love in a second. In a 1 QB league, I'll go ahead and take the chance on getting rid of Love because I'm getting a first back. In this class, it looks like it could be a really good class. And plus, we'll see what happens with Nick Chubb. He just got back. Foxman 2883 or 2183 says, give me Rashee Rice, and I'm going to give up Kyren Williams and Jordan Mason. Ooh, I guess if it's a rebuild, I would do that. If I'm contending, that's too much. But in a rebuild, I get it. Neither one of those two look like super long-term assets. Rebuild, I'll take that side. But if it's not a rebuild and it's more of a contender move, I'd rather have the running backs. Here we go in the Superflex League. Powerfold gets Malik Nabers, but he paid Jordan Love, Eric All, a third, a second, or in 2 seconds in 2027. I mean, ooh, man, this is tough. This is really tough. Malik Nabers, he's been balling out. He's been so good, but Jordan Love is fantastic too. This one is a true need-based one for me. Do I need the receiver? Do I need the quarterback? That's the one I'm taking there. So that's how it works in Dynasty sometimes. Sometimes it's just, what do I need more? I think this is an even deal, so I'll take whatever side I need. Here we go. Michael Pittman Jr. This is AMAC. He's giving up Michael Pittman Jr. or getting Michael Pittman Jr., Kamani Vidal, and a fourth, giving up Adam Thielen, Shakir, and Chase Brown. I think this is a great buy low on Michael Pittman Jr. Michael Pittman Jr. still a very good receiver. I get it. He's not getting as many targets as we would want because they're just not throwing the ball a ton in Indy right now with Anthony Richardson. But still, you're not giving up anything of consequence in that deal. So give me the opportunity to buy low on the former stud. Josh Jacobs for Caden Yoss. Caden Yoss is getting Josh Jacobs in a third, giving up Debo in a second. These are both contending teams. In a vacuum, I'd rather Debo in the second, to be honest. I get it. If that's the position that you need, then I think it's worth it. But overall, I'd take Debo in the second. To Equinox, he's getting Jaylen Wright, a 25 second and third. This is a rebuilding team. He's giving up Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason, we know, is a short-term asset. You might as well get rid of him before you expire if you're in rebuild, and that's what he said. He's in 12-team Superflex rebuild. I think that's a good rebuilding move. Schrute Farms, he gave up Brandon Ayuk and a 25 fourth, along with Theo Johnson, received Jaden Reed and Malik Washington. I wouldn't even need Washington in that. Jaden Reed for that deal all day. So great job, Schrute Farms. We've got Breece Hall here for Caldas. Breece Hall, he's giving up Etienne and 2 25 first, one early, one late. I like Breece Hall quite a bit, but I think I'm taking Etienne and the first. I know Etienne's losing a little bit of work, but one of those first being early, Ashton Genty plus Etienne plus an additional first, which is probably going to be a receiver, maybe a tight end like Colston Loveland. I would rather have that side. FD Jake is getting Zach Moss, Ricky Pearsall, and a first and 25 and 26, giving up Mark Andrews, Najee Harris, Christian Watson, and a third. Right now, none of those assets are ones that I would rather have than a 2025 first round pick. I'm also getting a second. And I think, honestly, I might just take the first and second for those players in the pick alone. If I'm getting Pearsall and Moss on top, I think it's a great deal. And he said that the team that's giving up the first is currently 0-4. Easy. I might do that alone, honestly. Ethan, it's a rebuilding team. Do I take Garrett Wilson or Xavier Worthy in a 26 first? Still taking Garrett Wilson. I don't know that the target share is ever going to really be there for Xavier Worthy. The 26 is 2 years out. That's a long time. So still give me Garrett Wilson in that, but it is fairly close. Here we go. We've got Waylert, 12-team Superflex. Got her in a 25 fourth, or Andrews. Guess Andrews. I don't know. I still don't love this one. I don't know. That's tough. I guess still Andrews, though. Okay. K. Sivapa. I probably pronounced that wrong, too. Says 12-team Superflex. This is a contender. Do I want Hawkinson, Cook, and a 25 first? Or do I want Richardson, Flowers, and Ferguson? I am going to take the Hawkinson side. I hate giving up Richardson, but James Cook's a great asset. 25 first is a really good asset. So I'm going to take Hawkinson and the first along with James Cook. Next one, we have Liss MX 14. This is a 1 QB, half-point PPR, and he's kind of a fringe contender. Tyreek Hill in the mid-first, or Jonathan Taylor, Wandale Robinson, and Braylon Allen. A fringe contender, I want to be a for sure contender if I'm acquiring running backs. Jonathan Taylor, kind of at his peak right now, and over the next 2 years, when you'll start to be a legit contender, I think I would rather Tyreek Hill right now, because Tua is going to come back, and he'll be a guy that can put you over the top then. But you also have the first in case that contention window didn't work out like you thought. So I'm still going to take Tyreek Hill in the first, although the Braylon Allen is pretty tempting. He's looked very good. Contender for this one for True Blue 93, Bijan or James Cook and Ayuk. I'm still taking Bijan. I think better days are ahead. He banged up his shoulder in this last game. That's why Algier got so much work. Kick Procs gets Zach Moss, gives up Cortland Sutton and a 3rd and 4th. It looks like Moss might be giving up some work there to Chase Brown, so I'll take Sutton and the picks at this point. Jerry SNC, Wandale Robinson or Keenan Allen for a contender. Wandale's been getting the target share, but I still trust Keenan Allen a little bit more. Give me Keenan Allen. Kev Cab for QT. He gets A-Rich in a 25 second, which is going to be mid to late, or Brock Purdy. Man, it's tough. It's all about whether you're wanting upside or security. Brock Purdy, we know he's got a good floor, but the ceiling isn't crazy high, whereas the ceiling for A-Rich is bonkers. Right now, I'm probably taking Purdy because this is more than likely my quarterback too. So I will take Purdy and play it a little more safe. OJ18 says Olave in an early 3rd or Brian Thomas Jr. in a mid to late 1st. I'm not the biggest Brian Thomas Jr. guy, but he's looked really good. Olave is just going to kind of probably live forever as that mid to late wide receiver 2. Give me a guy with some upside plus that 1st round pick. I think that's a juicy one. I want that side fairly easy for me. Big Rye says he's got Jaden Daniels and Jordan Love already. Should he try for Anthony Richardson by giving up Trevor Lawrence and Ladd McConkey? You don't need the ceiling. You've already got 2 ceiling players. Go ahead and give yourself a safe 3rd quarterback. I know he's not great, but Trevor Lawrence, but it's the Ladd McConkey part that I want to make sure that I hold on to. So give me Lawrence and McConkey, the donkey. All right. Dion Raw. We've got Rashid Shaheed or Amari Cooper. Contending team. Yes, Amari Cooper, but I still don't feel great about that. That's a really, really tough, really, really close one. NSG3, 12-team Superflex, half point. This is a middling team. Devontae Adams, James Conner, Aaron Jones, or Garrett Wilson. Give me Garrett Wilson in that. If I'm middle of the road, all of those assets are not getting any better. Give me Garrett Wilson there. And somebody, sure, they have an opportunity to contend, but that team is not you contending. So you need something that's going to help you 2 years from now. None of those assets are helping you 2 years from now. Another middle of the road one, Garrett Wilson and JSN or Jamar Chase. I'll go ahead and go with Jamar Chase there. I know that's two good young receivers, but Jamar Chase has proven to be that alpha year in and year out. I will go ahead and take Jamar Chase. Kobe in the clutch saying, and just an 8-teamer, would you take Pittman or Hawkinson? I'm going to take Hawkinson, a middling wide receiver versus a guy that could be an elite tight end. I'm looking for elite assets in 18 leagues. If I'm in a 14-teamer, yeah, I need more depth. But if I'm in a shallow league like that, give me the guys that have a chance to have that really high ceiling, and that's what TJ Hawkinson has here. Well, now my alarm is going off. That is, in fact, the 15-minute timer. I don't know how many trades I got to. I'm going to have to count. We'll put it in the title how many trades I got to. But I had a great time. Hopefully I got to answer your question, or maybe it was a trade similar to yours that you had that helps. Appreciate you guys. See you next time.